It is so weird to think about where we are today with Nintendo, considering the long struggles many of us have had to endure as Nintendo fans to get them just to notice us and just to notice our wants and desires in a Nintendo system. Some of you may remember the Wii U Virtual Console days, and while it was great to have as many games that were purchasable and that were yours when you bought them that were from older systems, there was still just never enough. It was always so select. It was like, oh, I want to play Pokemon Stadium 2. Go on the Wii U, look it up. Oh, it's not there. It was a Wii Virtual Console game. Oh, look it up on the Wii. Sorry, the Wii shop is down, so if you want it, you had to have bought it. Or womp womp, little guy. And it was a struggle. It was a real struggle. We had to scream at Nintendo via their Nintendo Direct comments for many a year for Nintendo Switch Online to happen. I remember when the Switch dropped and it wasn't like fully confirmed that we were going to have this Nintendo Switch Online infrastructure in the way that we do. And it was like, what happened to all our Virtual Console games? What do we do about it? Are we just going to get drip fed yet again? Purchasable titles that won't be usable in the following system? Well, we still got drip fed titles very, very slowly, but at least they were a part of a subscription service instead of being $13 each or whatever they was in your respective country. And the system we have now is fine. It's okay. I do really like it, and I do really enjoy the Nintendo Switch Online games, and I go back to it. It took like 2 years or something for Pokemon Stadium 2 to finally come to Nintendo Switch Online after that Nintendo 64 section had dropped, but we got there. We got there. We got to my favorite childhood game. You know, I'd rented that game so many times. I went to I don't know, it was a Video Easy or something. And I had rented that game so many times that the guy eventually just went, just take it. Like, it just, like, I don't know why your parents just didn't buy you one because you rented it so many times and spent so much money on this rental. But just go home with it. It's okay. I'll tell someone we lost it. There's a very funny memory of mine. Look, Rambling Sign, we're here. We got a whole bunch of games on Nintendo Switch Online from the NES all the way up to the Game Boy Advance era, albeit it was drip fed and the collections aren't quite as packed as I think they should be by now. I mean, look, 8 years is a long time, man. Like, if somebody got the Nintendo Switch as a 10-year-old squeaker, if it was their first ever home console or something, they can legally drink at a bar in Australia now. It's weird to think about how long the Nintendo Switch's lifespan is, considering my boomer Seagull experience, right? It's weird. And when you really put that into perspective, I think it did take way too long for these games to be drip fed out and on the systems. Because when you think about that kind of pace, the Nintendo Switch 2 is probably, let's be real, gonna drip feed us. It's probably the same way, which means we're gonna get the DS and then it's gonna be dripped and there's gonna be 3DS. Assuming that comes at all, assuming that is the next stage at all, which it better be, man, because I want that, and that would be a nice thing, and I cannot buy games on the 3DS online as per Nintendo's own executive order stamp of go away, we don't want to run the store anymore. So it would be nice if they were all in a collection of a place, and that was a problem I didn't have to deal with every time I thought of a DS or 3DS Nintendo game. I didn't have to, find some sort of pre-owned version of it and cross fingers it's going to be in decent nick by the time it shows up to my house all the way in middle of nowhere. I know I risk sounding a little bit entitled when it comes to my desire for Nintendo to release games on Nintendo Switch Online at a little bit more of a quicker pace and make sure that they keep releasing different consoles as well as games, so we move past the Game Boy Advance and get, more expansive experiences. But I think it is worth a show of goodwill from Nintendo to do that, so that we know that our annual commitments, as well as buying the console, as well as getting the games that we do, is worth it, and the experience grows and gets better. And I do think that Nintendo should run the tap a little bit more loose. We don't have to get drip fed so slowly. I mean, does another 10-year-old kid have to turn 18? Does another 10-year-old have to turn 18 and have his first shot at a bar before we get Nintendogs? Really? I think that's a little bit silly. I think it's a little bit ridiculous, especially considering that the options besides that happening in the future are very slim. And let's be real, it's not like Nintendo has anything to lose by dropping these titles on the Nintendo Switch 2. In fact, they have everything to gain. The Nintendo Direct, which states they have every single DS and 3DS Zelda game just casually on Nintendo Switch Online, is going to be one of their most well-received directs of all time. And not to mention, can you imagine if every single Game Freak game was just casually dropped on Nintendo Switch Online? Imagine if Nintendo Switch Online users had every single mainline Pokemon game that was released that they could want, right? That would be insane. That would be incredible. Like, they've got nothing in their reputation that will get a chink off their armor by doing that. That's only positive news, and it also means they can take their foot off. I mean, if Nintendo want to, it also means they can take their foot off the gas with the random side projects that come out all the time that are sort of like of lesser scale. If people have every single Pokemon game in the history of existence, of life, of being, just casually to chew on for the entire Nintendo Switch 2 lifespan, people are going to be set for a while. That's all I'm saying. That is a system seller situation. That is a system seller, like, you know how people were saying, oh, Master Chief Collection, and there's those games that come out every once in a while, that they are system sellers. That is one of those situations, to have every single Game Freak Pokemon game, or just casually sitting on the Switch 2. It needs to happen. Frankly, it should happen. It's a great business decision. It seems like one of the only ones going forward that would be just, giga brain level of genius moving forward for Nintendo. But I am but a Seagull. I am just Special Ops Seagull, speaking for the YouTube channel Switch 2 Special Ops. What do you think? What do you think Nintendo Switch Online should have as improvements? Am I crazy and entitled? I don't know. But subscribe either way, because reasons. Bleh.